Hi, Deacon John Wilson here, Education Enrichment Director for West Angeles Church. Just for a few minutes here, I want to talk about something nobody wants to talk about. I've tried to talk to college people about it, but I think that was a major change when the federal government got out of the loan business. And I guess I figured out the loan business for master's degrees, My next video is about undergraduate, but they're still in that. It used to be the federal government would do low interest loans called a Grad Plus, which the credit requirements were very minimal, and you could get a loan for an unlimited amount for your Grad Plus loan. And what this has led to is a super increase in the cost of graduate degrees. When they know you can just go get a loan for it. I mean, the loan was relatively low interest, not right now, but it was relatively low interest. It'll eventually be low again, but it's not available. That loan is no longer available. So what are you going to do if you come out of college, you want to go for your master's? Colleges are notorious for not giving financial aid to master's students. They play a lot of games. They tell you you're getting a fellowship or for a portion of it, which is a small part of it usually. Then you got to do your room and board too. Because most of y'all want to go away for your master's rather than just doing a CSU locally and getting a job. We'll talk about that at the end, but I want to make sure you know in this video for the next 2 minutes what it means to get a loan for your master's. And you're going to have a credit check. What happens if you don't have a credit history, students? Or if your credit history is not enough? Then you need a co-signer, a co-borrower. And that means you're going to they're called co-borrowers. That means you're going to bring your parent in. Do they want to be involved in your loan for $60,000 or $100,000? Sometimes more, by the way. I don't know. So if the government, that's the next part of this video. So if the government, you decide to do a master's, you know the government won't do your loan, well, who will? Let's take a look at that. I said in my last video on this that I think private providers will come in, and they will, and they have. So I want to take look at what I believe are the top 4 providers, and I want to react to that list in just a moment. But as I stated, here are the top 4. I have some comments about them. Let's first, before we do that, let's look at master's degrees, and then we'll look at the top 4 loan providers. Excuse me. The average cost for a master's degree is $62,820. And for the schools that most of you want, it's going to be over $100. If you want a private school, some of you want to go to USC. It's very expensive. $150,000. I think I have that listed here somewhere. A master's in education, $44,000. I'll send you a link to these, don't worry. You'll see it in the description block below. A master's in science, $61,400, $380. Tuition statistics. Average cost of a master's degree, $51,740 just for tuition. What about your room and board if you're going away? Remember, this is average. A lot of them are more than this. And how are you going to pay for this? It's going to be a loan. There was a big thing with MBA. You can look at all these on your own. University of California Masters in Public Policy is $29,028 and $41,000 for out-of-state residents. Okay?
Get ready for your poll of the day.
The Masters of Business, MBA, a lot of people want MBAs. Look at the MBA costs over time. What's happened? Went down briefly and back up. Look at it. So you got to ask yourself, there are all the charts here. I'll link you to this. Is that something you want to get into? These are averages now. If you want to do a private school, it's going to cost you way more. Way more. So I'll give you a link to those below so you can get an idea what your debt will be. A lot of you want private schools. and they're typically running about $100,000 to $200,000 for a master's. USC's master in public policy, $150,000. Master in social work, $120,000. You're not going to reach in your pocket to pay for those unless you have an employer to pay for them. That's a different story. But most of you want to go right from school, go right to your master's. Now, I have a video I'll share with you in the description box below where I covered this topic, why you should wait to get your master's. But now I think with these no more government loans, how are you going to pay for this? Let's look at some private loans and see what they're doing, okay? See how they kind of work out for you. Here's a site I like called Best Education, and they show some of these programs. College Avenue, I know about them. They have a pretty good program. By the way, SoFi, the large loan provider, largest, has not decided they're going to do Grad Plus loans. So there's some providers that will. You can check the rates on your own and click, but I think the rates are going to be high on these, only because cash is tight right now as far as loan capital. But you can see the College Avenue is going. You can apply online, offers private loans for undergraduate students and all that, but we're not talking about undergraduate. But it will do masters for you too. Sallie Mae is always a good option. They're the oldest provider. But here's a little thing they say here. Do you see this? Last year's students were 4 times more likely to be approved with a cosigner, which means you probably won't be approved without a cosigner. That's another thing you have to think about. Whereas with the Grad Plus, you didn't need a cosigner. You didn't need a cosigner. There wasn't a strong credit check. Now you have a credit check and you need a cosigner. I think a lot of people are going to wait to do their master's. Maybe you should work for an employer and get them to pay for it. I mean, even if you could get this debt, is it worth it? I showed you the cost on the other page. Credible, that's one I've heard of too. They've helped over 2 million people. Compare pre-qualified rates from multiple lenders without, yeah, you can check on, they'll show you their competitors' percentage. Multiple prepayment types. That'd be great if you could prepay your loan. No repayment. That'd be great if you could repay your loan. You can check the rates here and go through the process. Earnest is one too. There's one too. These are all major providers of master's loans. Okay. Number one is College Avenue, they say, but read about this stuff. What's the difference between federal and private loans? Big difference. I told you 2 of them. With the federal Direct Plus loan, which they don't offer anymore, there's no more Direct Plus for college master's degree students. So you don't have a situation where there's not a credit. There's a credit check on these. If you don't have adequate history, you need a cosigner for your master's degree. What's the alternative? Wait a little while, build up a credit rating, work a job, get used to that, find out what you really should be getting your master's in. But I have a video on that. I'll put the link in the description block below for that, so you can click and see what I was saying then and still say about master's degrees. I'm not opposed to it, but I want it to be a good investment and a good return on your investment. You should get proportionally more money to pay for that loan. But there are your loan sources right there. Okay, I've given you an idea of the costs and the loan sources. I don't want to make this video too long. The important takeaway is the federal government is no longer doing loans for your graduate degree. You need to pay for it, which means you're going to have to arrange for your financing, and you might need a cosigner to do it. Master's degrees are not going to be easy to get anymore because these costs of these masters, they're way overpriced. While my mind is on it, maybe you don't need a loan. Maybe you need to go to a CSU locally in a couple of years when you're out on your own and have your own place. Those you can possibly pay for with a job. Even if the job isn't paying, you can afford it. It's affordable. You can work your way through your master's degree. All right. God bless you. If you like this video, please click like, and would you subscribe to my site so you can widen the influence of my videos. leave a comment for me. That'd be great. I really appreciate that, to know what you think about this topic, which is graduate loans and what it means that now that we have no more federal graduate loans. God bless you. Thank you very much. Bye bye now.